Hey everybody, it's Never, and I wanted to make a video to address something, mostly just for everyone's kind of education, I guess. This is a result of something that happened on social media, and it's one of the more petty things that I like to do sometimes, I guess. But what it is it's this. This is a thread, people who are playing on Ultra, what's your hardware? Mine is an i5 4600K, 8 gigs of DDR3, GTX 770 with 4 gigs of video RAM, an 840 EVO SSD, there's actually a couple of them, and all stock clocks. I run WoW at 1080p with everything max except a view distance slider at 5, and with 30 Chrome tabs open and several other programs running in Photoshop and Premiere. And so somebody disputes this, and that's fine, and I explain how it works, and this is the part I'm going to address. You know, this person is accusing me of lying about this because my old rig doesn't perform so well, and that this is the part specifically that I want to address. A clip of doing Argus with everything on Ultra, Photoshop running and 30 Chrome tabs open. I won't have over 5 to 10, maybe max 10 frames per second. And okay, let's go ahead and do this. I mean, we'll get into the fight right here, but let's take a look here. Premiere is running, and you can see that it's actually, let's get back to, I don't have any video on here. Let's dump some video in here. Here's video running, okay, Premiere, and then I've got Twitch open. I've got a bunch of other stuff open. I've got Photoshop open, and it's alive. There's multiple layers there. And we're getting ready to go. And I've got my frame rate up here. This is my video card displaying the frame rate, and you can check it against this here, 78, 82. Actually, the game reports higher frame rate than the video card does. And so I'm a pretty bad healer, so this isn't going to be pretty. But anyway, we're going to get into the fight, and I would wager that I'm not going to go below 10 frames per second. In fact, I bet I don't even get close to it. And so you might be thinking, well, yeah, there's stuff open in the background, but you're definitely not running the game at max settings. So let's take a look at that. So over here, everything is on maximum, except for view distance at 5, which I addressed, but everything else is maximum. I don't even have resolution scale down or anything. It's 1080. Totally normal stuff. It's a good thing this is LFR, because you don't really have to do very much. And so that's there, and you can look. It's been a really consistent in the 40s for something like this, and we'll see how it goes as we progress through the fight. But I'm not doing this to call the person out. I don't really care what someone else incorrectly thinks about how my computer runs. I don't care. But I want people to know this so that they understand that they don't have to spend a ton of money on the latest hardware to have good performance out of their computer. And so the next thing I think that there's a burden of proof with me is what are my system specs legitimately? What are they actually at? And so let's get some stuff out here, and then we'll see. So we can go here. Here's Device Manager. 2 SSDs. The 120 is running Windows 10, and the 250 has got stuff like Photoshop, Premiere, and my games installed on it. And then let's go over here to my DirectX diagnostic. So here's my video card, GTX 770 with 4 gigs of RAM, and system. Here is my i5 4670K at stock clock, 8 gigs of RAM, and a 15 gig page file. And that's important because that's what allows this to work, is I'm paging to an SSD, which is very efficient. And so, I mean, yeah, Premiere's still open, Photoshop's still open, Chrome is open with all these tabs, and it runs fine. It's nice and quick, because when something exceeds the 8 gigs of RAM that I have, it just pages it to the page file, which is on an SSD. And so it's really quick to switch between it. But you can see 49 frames a second. There's instances of 55. I can look way up here. I can look around. There's 25 people in this raid. That's more than you would have on Mythic. And it's no big deal. So again, this isn't to say, look at this guy and he's wrong, and look at me how right I am. This is just to show you that if you set up your computer right, if you configure it right, you can get a lot more out of old, crappy hardware than you think you can. So what makes this work is two things. One is it's paging to an SSD. That's a huge part of it. The other thing is RAM timings. And so that doesn't mean RAM clock speed. That means the actual timings in the RAM. And you can look up on Wikipedia or a bunch of other places how exactly that works, because it's not really interesting to get into here. I want to keep this video short. But I actually have 1866 RAM that I have underclocked to 1600 so that I can get more aggressive timings consistently with it. And that allows things to move in and out of RAM very quickly. And combining that with the page file paging to an SSD, it allows me to run a lot of things at the same time without bogging the system down. And if you keep an eye on the frame rate, it's been perfectly consistent, really stellar. I mean, we're about to get to the place where we have guys all around the room, and that might tax it a little bit more. But again, it's really not that big of a deal. You know, again, I am recording this. This is live. And here's frame rate. Here's BattleNet open. Twitch is open. There's that other stuff open. Here's Premiere. Here's WoW. And where'd Photoshop go? Here's Photoshop. We can turn things on and off. So it works just fine. Oh, actually, we're more here. We're like 60 to 70 frames per second in some parts of this. Let's get some more stuff on the screen. So if I try and get everything to be as visible as possible. Okay, we got a 39 there. So I guess if we try, we can get a 39. And I don't always play zoomed out this far anyway. But I'm perfectly happy with a frame rate like this. I mean, I want to see if I can get it into the 20s. If I look at everything, I don't think I can do it. Let's start throwing some more spell effects out. Oh well, I tried. We'll see, maybe when the tree comes up and we got all the little things crawling around on the floor, maybe then we could get it into the 20s. Let's get this guy back up. And this guy. Some 30s, it's not bad. Let's see, we're about to have that part where everyone dies soon. Oh, you guys are over here. Let's go ahead and go to Chrome and let's bring up some YouTube. I hope this person doesn't mind me just turning their video on. Okay, that person's video is on. I'm gonna turn it down, just so that it can run in the background. There was a 25 when we switched back. So yeah, that's still going in the background, that video. Let's get some people back up. And let's make sure that that video was HD. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was... No, that's HD. That's 720 at 60 frames a second. So maybe we could find a 1080 video. I guess I better top everyone off for this. Okay, let's see. That's well and good. Let's get another YouTube video up. Let's just see what we get. Okay, here's Bellular. I know his is really high quality. Let's do 1080p. There we go. There's Bellular. All right, Bellular's up. There's a 46, a 39. Also, I should mention that I'm running, last time I counted, 107 add-ons. So we got Bellular and what's that guy's videos on in the background running as we go. And look at all these things. Let's get a bunch of stuff on the ground. I guess I should die so I can see the room with all that crap on there. On the floor. Let's get this tank going. Do I have... What talent do I have there? I don't have germination, so I've just been overwriting. I really got to get used to the subtle changes in... Oh, there was an 18. Okay, there was an 18. Maybe we'll see a 10. Let's see if we can get a 10. Yeah, I normally don't play WoW with 2 YouTube videos running. But yeah, 2 YouTube videos running, that can get me in the 20s. Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and kill those, because that's ridiculous. There we go, that makes a bit of a difference. So, yeah, I suppose if I had maybe 4 YouTube videos running at on HD at the same time, I could get down to 10? Maybe? Oh, don't die, healer. I guess the dying doesn't matter in here. The real embarrassment here is how bad my healing is. But again, I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, let's go and show this one more time. So here's i5 4670, 8 gigs of RAM, lots of really great paging, and GTX 770 with 4 gigs of video RAM. And I actually do have 2 monitors. I normally run 2 monitors and stuff's over on the other monitor. But I wanted to be able to demonstrate this with everything visible on the screen where I do video capture. And by the way, I am running OBS to capture video at the same time, which does have an impact on frame rate. It's not a huge one, but I would say that it's on average maybe 5 to 10 frames per second in a lot of cases. They've gotten a little better lately, so it might be less. Oh, are you really gonna wipe? I guess it doesn't matter because all it was about was, yes, look at that. I'll just take the blame for that because it was really me not healing very much because I was busy talking and proving my point. Yeah, so the most intense thing that I can do in the game outside of... I mean, if I want to get 5 to 10 frames per second, I can. And in order to do that, I've got to go to, like, Darkshore in War Mode and have, like, 40 Horde versus 40 Alliance all fighting in the same place, blowing each other up with all them spell effects. That will quite happily do it. Did we use up the tree? Oh, we used up the tree. Anyway, doesn't really matter. The point of this video was to demonstrate how this works. So again, I'm not trying to be a jerk with this at all. I just want people to know that they don't have to spend all that money on a computer that can run the game really well amongst a bunch of other stuff. So that's how it works. That's what I'm showing. All I do is I might go over this way instead. There, it's real. It's not photoshopped or anything like that. It works. So I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope that people realize that they can build a budget computer. This thing cost me overall about $1,200 to put together, and I put it together like 3 or 4 years ago, and I don't expect to need to change or upgrade it for probably another 3 to 4 years or more, because if it really needs a boost, I can just upgrade the video card for a few $100s. I'm not even coming close to maxing out the CPU. Let's see, let's get Task Manager open. So yeah, I mean, yeah, 66% CPU, it gets up there. I mean, games should utilize your CPU, but the point is that it's perfectly fine. You can run a computer with these specs and do just ducky on things. So I've rambled long enough. Thanks everybody for watching, and I hope that this video is helpful to you. If you're more interested in stuff like this, there is a video I made a little while back that I'll link in the description about exactly how I put my computer together and more details on what made it work as well as it does. So let's see, let's get this up so I can turn it off live. Okay, thanks, bye. P.S. So after I finished the main video sequence, I thought, let's push this as hard as we can and see if it's absolutely at all possible to get down under 10 frames per second. So what I'm gonna do is I just queued up some random video stuff here, and I'm going to start this rendering while I do Argus. Everyone's probably dying, and I apologize for that, but this is 1080p 30 frames per second rendering at maximum quality. 40 megabits per second is the target, and so let's get this open here and see how we're doing. So we're going to see a little bit of jumps in here as the system tries to start rendering that video. So we're down in the 20s now with rendering going. Let's go show that. There we go. That was an 11. Got to be pretty quick about this. It's going to render too fast. So let's look at Task Manager. Not you. Task Manager. So yeah, we've pegged 100% CPU, 60% is going to rendering in Premiere. That's a 19. Let's move this out of the way. There we go. So 36. So yeah, I would say rendering's cost is about anywhere from 10 to 25 frames per second, it seems. It's doing pretty well. I mean, I play with rendering going on in the background all the time. I just don't raid with it because it's a little pushing it. Although now I see maybe I could do LFR with rendering going on. It's not so bad. Let's see, is it still going? It's still going. It's still going. It's not even doing the whole video, so it'll be over pretty fast. But yeah, it would be about like this if I just let it go. So 100% CPU, it's going, using a bunch of memory, that's fine. But we still, I mean, I still have Photoshop open in the background. So anyway, just trying to get it down below 10 frames per second. But I wasn't watching it the whole time, so I'll have to check. You can check and see if I did. I didn't see it, but maybe I did. That would be kind of cool. Anyway, once again, okay, thanks, bye.